Okay. We're just right on time, I would say, 5:15. Welcome everybody. We prepared 2 days of program, and our goal is like quite, I would say, quite transparent. We would like to see sharing a lot of books, knowledge, yeah, a lot of sharing of digital files, and it's called the Public Library. I'm Marcell Mars. Most of you know me. Dubravka will run, together with me this first workshop. We prepared like 3 workshops or 3 phases of one long workshop. Simon will do tomorrow the 3rd phase. Dusan, are you here? Yeah. Dusan will do the 2nd. So I will just tell you now like what's the plan. So first day, like next couple of hours, we'll do like collecting a lot of books. They're already here on some USB disks, but there are also like 1 million of them on the internet at Library Genesis. Then we will like download them, make the catalogs, make good catalogs. Then we will share them among ourselves, and we will also see how we can share it with the rest of the world. Then also how to make a selection of good books, how to recommend the books. And that's basically what I claim. I'll tell you more a little later about it, what I call public library. So not a new public library, but just the public library as we know it for last at least 100 years. And then for tomorrow, we'll try to get a little further from that librarian kind of state. So today, you're already librarians, I would say, but today, at the end of the workshop, we will have like quite clear a case of what amateur librarian means, at least for me. And tomorrow we'll go further in a research kind of phase. So Dusan will show you how he does a great project, Monoscope, which is just one page now. I'll tell you more about that. How, and then introduce you with his workflow and how he does his research. And then at the end, after Dusan, Simon will facilitate Simon, maybe you can say like you would like to hear from them.
I mean on this idea of librarianship and archiving, we want to look at the audience potentially as being your archivists, archiving, making your archive. So in a certain sense, we want to kind of look at the things that you already do on your computer in terms of capturing things, storing them, and republishing them. So we'll kind of play out, we'll do some role playing, we'll play out some scenarios around this and try and understand. I mean, Marcell said you're already librarians, maybe you're archivists too. We all use computers, we all collect things. So yeah, so to kind of explore that. And I suppose my background is coming as a magazine publisher for 20-something years, but then recently working at a university, Leuphana in North Germany, specifically on a 3-year publishing project, looking at making, or trying to coordinate open source infrastructures for publishing. And so then specifically within that, our issues are about multi-platform publishing, and how do you move from making a book to making an e-book, to making an app, to making library streams, but then also dynamic publishing. And this means kind of more automation of the different things that happen within publishing, so layout, distribution, reuse, distribution into education, things like open education resources. So yeah, so I'll explain a bit about the kinds of publishing things I look at, and as Marcell says, it's about these different types of workflows, as we call them.
Do you want us to explore the difference between librarians and archivists, or is this anyway said because you sort of mark that it's not the same?
We will. I wouldn't like to go and into that discussion right now, but I think that we will also talk about that just after this workshop at 8 o'clock in panel with Kenneth and Dusan, and then we will try also to get into that discussion in between, like archivist, librarian, and curator, in a sense. So we would like to explore that also through these great projects, Monoscope and EGOBOO. And Dusan, maybe you can say what.
Maybe I would even add more kind of roles to the ones already mentioned. Kind of like think of myself as a reader and a writer. And basically, as what I'm kind of busy with is coming up with easy and natural ways to make notes, and while I'm reading, and translate this reading into or like think of activity of reading as writing. So where like these two activities actually meet in a very natural way, and this is kind of like this kind of like my lifelong struggle. This kind of a question, and this wiki website is one instance of how I kind of coping with it. Like not kind of, because I mean I read one text and then in 3 weeks it's kind of gone, and then I may make some notes in a notebook, and then I travel somewhere and I need my notes, but they're not there. So yeah, I would like to talk about these kind of very simple ideas of reading and writing using contemporary technology.
Yeah, so now you have, I hope, at least some kind of idea what will happen here. I think that after this whole workshop, you'll have just one more way how to procrastinate from reading. So we are doing a lot of digitization at the moment, scanning the books in Mama, and one of our friends, Petar, he was saying, oh, this is just postponing, just another way of postponing reading. So yeah, I mean, if that will happen to you, then just, I'm sorry. But yeah, everyone should deal with that on its own. So I would like now to move with this, like a first a librarian and the name of public librarian. Yeah, my goal is really to, just to be clear before getting into the technical details. My background is a lot in advocacy for free software, and you probably heard of Linux and Wikipedia, OpenStreetMap, all of these resources which are in a way like publicly accessible. You can do like most of the things which you want. You can do research. You can do whatever you want. And then there is another like a whole world of a restricting regime of accessing the information, and this is this is how I kind of approach that after 10 years of activism. So I try to claim that this is public library. So the same dream which librarians or public librarians had in the 19th century, even before, that we can reach the state where we will get to universal access to knowledge for every member of society, which was the promise of the public library, that we can actually get there. And we are not there, even the technological means are here, and it doesn't really move in that direction for like the last 20 years. Many people would say, oh, internet, that would just change that completely, but it doesn't change if not going into the worst. So the state of affairs for public libraries are very tricky at this moment. So for example, the 70% of books from New York Times, digital books from New York Times bestseller list, public libraries cannot buy them because the publishers will not let them. Publishers were always complaining about public libraries, but somehow public libraries won that game 100 years ago, or maybe 50 years ago with some other technological changes, but at this moment it seems that it's very hard to break that. So it seems that digital books will never get into the public library because that struggle is harder than ever. Then there is another one because of the economic crisis, and especially in United Kingdom, you can see that the public libraries are losing status which they got before. So they established themselves as a great institutions which promise that universal access, but they are losing the financial support, being public services, under the excuse of the economic crisis. And it's kind of easy to imagine that if they don't get into the digital books, and if there is economic crisis, which will not really end like in a few months or something, then there will be another excuse why to shut down the public libraries, because they are not catching up with the technological changes. So I think it's a very tricky thing, and I use this more like some kind of a tactical tool for politics. So I hope that you will accept that public library is the common ground. I would go further in that sense. I'm a communist, so I would like to see the world without the private property. But I don't think that that I can really convince you for communism. But I think that it's kind of easy to make argument for public libraries today, for public libraries with digital books. And so I would like to encourage you to become an amateur librarian, where you will just maintain your collections of books, that you will just make your own catalogs, and that you will be able to share it with the others. So you're a librarian, you have a catalog, and there is access to your books, and we all together, we are just like a public library. Even one of us, in my opinion, is a public library, because it just like follows that dream. That's the basic simple concept. So I started that when I was in Javna almost 3 years ago, trying to share the books. I realized that most of the scholars have a lot of books. They usually go and download them from different sources. Usually these sources are considered as illegal, or we can say by fact, or like just by following the legal regulation today, they are illegal. So this is the latest incarnation of the biggest repository of books. It's called Library Genesis. It's run by Russian hackers, and it appeared as the one which maybe, how many of you used Gigapedia, eBooks Club, or library.nu? Okay. So these were the predecessor, how do you say that?
Predecessor.
Yeah, okay. That word, of the Library Genesis. And they were shut down because the publishers proved that the people who were running these libraries were making some money, trying to support it by ads. And usually these ads would go for casinos and pornography. So it's kind of a bizarre situation where in a 2000 something, you go for the books, you work on your research, and then you just try to kind of get your book and click and just avoid the advertisements for pornography and casinos. So I think that it's quite a bizarre situation, but that's how these repositories were trying to like support themselves or just make money. I'm not trying to say that they're like only altruists trying to like and living that dream of universal access. But then Library Genesis appeared, and they change it in a way that if you have resources, you can run the whole Library Genesis on your own. So they let you, through torrent or whatever, they let you download all of the files which they have. It's around like 1 million of books at the moment. It's 12 terabytes of storage. So you need around from like 600 euros up to few thousand euros in order to just store that data. But also they let you run their database and the PHP. So you can run exactly the same website if you want. You need some like resources to do that. And there are a number of projects which are doing that. And some of these projects not like Library Genesis. Some of these projects are using Library Genesis, adding few books, charging for these books, usually from 1 cent to like few dollars, running the advertisement. So it's like a regular gray or black market of the internet. So this is, without this, the whole public library wouldn't exist. I'm super impressed by this project. I love them. I didn't contact them because I feel that I didn't do enough in order to like just ask them for anything. Because I really have a huge respect for Library Genesis. And I hope that this project will just get at the stage where I will just be, okay, I'm ready now to get there and say like, okay, we did hear something, or I did something, so if we can collaborate in the future. Then there is another one, it's called Arc.org. How many of you have account on Arc? Okay, if you don't have it, this is how it looks like. It's run by Sean Dopre, artist based in Los Angeles. So he was running different projects in a gallery. So it's like art, theory, critical, like whatever, culture. And then he just set it up as some kind of a resource for texts. So if you would go and organize a reading group, then you need some kind of place where you would just say, okay, go there, download the essay or book or whatever, and then you just do something. And then it was growing by time, and at the moment it's around like 30,000 of books, very well selected. There is a certain bias to leftist kind of literature, and it's a great resource. A lot of people, it's some kind of a forum where people would start issues, like expressions and anarchists. And then at the moment there is 22 texts under that issue, and it's easy to add more text to that, or it's easy to add a new issue. So there is a great added value. There are scholars who are really maintaining this repository. So we are going from 1 million of books to 30,000 books. I don't think that anyone in this room will read like 30,000 books in the whole life. So it reduced from million to 30,000. It's still like outside of the scope of like a reading experience in a way. But it gets much more focused. And if you want to explore the leftist humanities in a way, this is a really great start. Then we already mentioned Monoscope. So there are like two projects. Monoscope as a library, as a wiki, focusing on Central and Eastern Europe media art with a great cover. Yeah, you will hear more about that later. And then there is also like a beloved blog where it has like a 2,500, maybe 3,000. Okay, I was like doing recently some scripts, so I think that it's around 2,500 books, where Dusan and his friends were selecting even more. So here you have thousands of books, which are really well selected, but very biased by your interest, which goes from media theory to like a history of technology, processing information, to sound, and it's great. Most of my friends really love this blog. How many people here were downloading books from Monoscope blog? How many of you heard? Okay, great. I mean, I'm glad that I'm introducing something new for you. This is great blog. You want to have like most of these books probably, because it's also great to show off your intellectual capacity. You know, like if you are like intellectual hipster, this is probably like one of the quickest way how to like start with something great. And we will hear today in a panel from Kenneth. So how many people heard for EGOBOO.com? Okay, like yeah, few more than for other resources. So it's very well known, like cultish. It's a great story. It started like probably like many of these others from the status. Can it please like correct me if I say anything wrong? But I think that it was changing the status from completely illegal to something which is like well accepted and which established itself as an institution. So many artists want to see their works here because it was really well curated. So if you are there, that means that you are recognized by someone who is authority and who got into that position through some kind of spontaneous, iterative, whatever process. I think that these authorities today are like rare, but because of internet are not that rare like before, because it's easier to do something like that. So why I'm showing you this, because I think that with a couple of skills which we will introduce here, you can do something like that. But I don't think that everyone should do that. Also, it's already done, so it's hard, and you need to compete with already established. But what I'm interested in is like to make an infrastructure for sharing the books, which politically goes against all of these whatever things in the world which are not supporting that dream of universal access to knowledge for every member of society. So I think that if there will be just about 50 people who will do what I will just show you, I think that we can, just like the partisans in guerrilla war, we can easily pretend there are more than 50, that maybe there are like 500 of us, and then we can make an argument for the public libraries so that they will not like disappear. And at the same time, I think that what is great is that we can also challenge the field of the librarianship, of archiving, of curatorship, just by being an amateur with a software tool which can challenge the whole field. So they need kind of to handle that, because we are not educated as librarians, but we can get quite close to what libraries do, and that's the whole idea. So I will show you the tool which I think is great and which can be used. It's called Calibre. This is how it looks like when you like customize it a little bit. Sorry, I'll just show you one more column. So here you can see my personal library. It's 1,000 of books in English. I have also another library which is like a maternji jezik. I'm sure that few of you understand that. So this is how I maintain this, and it's super easy. For example, for abstract sex, if I wanna if I only have like author and title, only ISBN, I can use Calibre and say download metadata, and it will go and connect to Google, Amazon, ISBN-DB, Ozone.ru, Barnes & Noble, a lot of these databases, which will just, as you can see, which will just download the metadata for that. And then if I pick up one, then it will give me usually the summary from Amazon, and then the cover if I don't have it, or just like a better one, and yeah, it's and then you have it in a catalog. And if you wanna see it in a fancy OpenGL, if you use like Mac OS or Windows, then you are not like that happy like we on Linux, because when we get here we use like fancy graphics, we are kind of happy. But we will catch up on Linux and be better than your operating systems very soon, because of video games, but that's completely different topic. So this is how you can then, search through your library. And for me, it became like an essential part of my research. I tag, so I can just add any tag to any book, and then just go and see whatever economics. So I have like 90 books about economics. I can go through that. So I would say this is like part of my research, but then it's also, it replaced that desire to show off as a whatever intellectual. So this is my bookshelf. So I have thousands of books which I would like to read. I probably will not read all of them, but in a way it's my like a living room with books. That's how I see it. And you can easily just get the whole bookshelf. So you can get like my whole living room in 10 minutes from a USB disk. So you can just like install it in your living room. Or you can just go through that and pick up the ones which you like. There are a lot of like books about programming, and I don't think that here we have a lot of people who would go for these books. So at least like a couple of texts you would like, and maybe a couple of texts you would just like hate. So this is what I can do with this. And Calibre is able to, just from Calibre, you are able to share. And I'll show you how it looks like in a local area network. If you don't understand that word, just never mind. If you would know the IP address of my, so I like to kind of confuse you. Even that's not like anything really complex, but at the same time I know that few people know about this, like what is the IP address, how to find the IP address of your computer, how to find IP address of another computer. It's not really something which most of the people know or they should care. So this is what you can get. If you have like a tablet, if you're at home, this is how you can access your library. So I will just do random book, games and information, then I can go for another random book. This is all like from my library. So I can download it on my e-reader. So if I want to read something, I can just connect to my computer and download it and then start to read it from whatever, Kindle or like Android reader or anything like that. So that was why Calibre had this feature. But then I was thinking it would be great if you can just share this with the world. And in order to get there, you need a little bit of support, like a software support. And that's what I did. So I set up a server. It runs on, first it was running on Amazon. I like that kind of irony, but then I just realized that it's much cheaper if I go with my fellow hackers, and then I moved it to the server in Berlin. And so I can do that. Only thing which I need to run is a script from terminal. How many of you runs Linux here? Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. So people running Linux, they are usually not afraid of running things from terminal, but it's no different than like typing something in a Google search bar. You just like open up another like area where you can type text instead of clicking. But also on Windows and on OS X, you can easily run this script just by clicking. It will open up terminal, so you don't type anything, but you just click, but still it opens up terminal. And this is what you will see. So you will see that, that your temporary public URL is https www.4t673.memoryoftheworld.org. So if anyone wants to check it out from your computer, I can just keep it for a second. But I will just move in 5 seconds. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, it should just show you exactly what you saw before. So if anyone in the world on internet today, at the moment, if it goes to that, it's still you can see the URL on top. So if you go there, you can access my books. So the temporary URL is that one. Temporary means that if you get on this address tomorrow, you will not see any books.
So
but
you mean a bit like this.
Exactly. So it's the one which you just, it works. And I use this sentence a lot. My demonstrations work better than Bill Gates. Bill Gates got so many times into like breaking his demonstrations. For me, it only once it didn't work because of firewall. Anyway, so that's why I did it. So this is with a little help of one very small software which I wrote and the setting up a server, we are able to share the catalogs. And this is what I would like to see more. So I would like to see you sharing like your catalogs, and we can hang out on chat, on a conference chat. I propose like a CryptoCat. We'll get there. So it's secure. You can see it here, HTTPS. So also, if you are afraid, you can be traced, but people need to go really after you, against you, and it will be quite hard for them to say, "Oh, you just like shared that book," because they cannot see. They need like to get into the millions of dollars of technology in order to sneak what is going on here. So there is a certain level of security which I think it's just fine, but if you're afraid, if you're from Germany, then you're probably so scared that you will never use it, but I would use it, and I was using that even in Germany. Okay, and it's not a joke. Germany is now like completely scared because they are like getting some letters, and there is an urban myth that everyone knows someone who got a letter for a few thousand euros. I highly doubt that they send that many letters, but Germans are scared. But I think that by time they will just get at the level like Chinese and the Iranian people, so they will know how to use proxies, security, and things like that, so they will be fine soon. So yeah, this is what I propose here. And we prepared a couple of things. Like on USB disk, we have my library. There is Tommy Medak from Mama library. There is New Left Review, which you did in 5 days. So
50 years.
Huh? 50? Yeah, 50 years of New Left Review. Should I say that? Or? Okay.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So New Left Review just like let some people to download all of the articles from New Left Reviews, but it was not really ready for that. It was not catalog. You couldn't get a catalog of New Left Review on your disk. And then Dubravka just sit like 5 days and prepared. So now you can have every author, every title, and with a convention of like getting what was the issue of New Left Review. So our plan is just to send it back to New Left Review and say like, here's the catalog for you. It's much better than the one you just offered. Then there is
25%.
yeah, 25% of your books, and there are like a number of folders, and I will show you how you can just run it on your computer. It's super easy to like just copy the whole library with the catalog into the Calibre, and then you can just go and share it. It's like super easy, nothing more than all of these things you already did. So you know how to use USB disk, you know how to access the directory from any of software, so that's what's going on. So yeah, maybe one more thing I would like to show you. Here is the website which I run. So yeah, one more story. Just I would like to to get you to contribute. And at the moment, this project is also like artistic project, like connected with my name, which is great. I'll be a great artist or whatever. But at the same time, for people who are afraid, this is also the way how you get protected. Someone has a name in front, and then you can do that even without your name. If you wanna join, great. And I like to play. So one of the plays which I like, that's why I would like to show you. It's the Memory of the World. Memory of the World is like a famous quote by La Fontaine. There is another famous quote saying, free schools and libraries for every soul by Matthew Dewey. So these were the great people dreaming about the public libraries. And then because of that, UNESCO, if you go and Google and say Memory of the World, you will see that there is an organization called Memory of the World, which is the UNESCO organization. Here it is. And they have objectives. Okay, it's slow. I hope that you are downloading books. It's too slow. So they have objectives. I just copied them here. So they say that the vision of that organization, the vision of Memory of the World, is that the world documentary heritage belongs to all, should be fully preserved and protected for all, and with due recognition of culture mores and practicalities, should be permanently accessible to all without hindrance. But it's like too smart for me, but I agree completely. I don't know about the hindrance, but everything else I'm like just fine. So the mission of the Memory of the World is to facilitate preservation. I fully agree with this, and I just see that they are not able to do that. And they're not able to do that because of the copyright regime. So for next 2 days, if you have problems with that claim that I don't care about copyright in that sense, I would like to see writers and others supported by the society, but not through that regime, because that regime just makes like too much harm, much more than benefits. So let's just like postpone that discussion. If you don't agree, if you agree, great. So that's the reason why they cannot come up with this goal, and that's why I copied this. So in a sense, I'm just playing with that idea. Great, yeah, I'm doing that. memoryoftheworld.org, and I hope that they will be better actually, because they have much more resources. But I doubt, because what they do is that they deal only with stuff which is like more than 100 years old, or 90 or whatever, and I don't think that this is the most relevant thing in the world. So I think it's relevant, but if you do a research or whatever, you want to read the recent books, not like the books from 19th century. Okay, that's the kind of the conceptual framework. And let's do the hands-on. And while I'm just opening the new. Okay, so from now on, if you do you have any questions? It's quite hot here.
This was interesting.
Huh? No questions. Okay.
First one question.
Oh, yes.
So you sketched the vision, to make a case for the public library.
Yes.
With us in the room and maybe some others, you said we need 50 people to basically perhaps make the impression that we are 5 million or whatever. Do you want to go into this a little? Because I mean, it's a compelling idea. I mean, are we going to discuss this later on the panel? Or?
No. Yeah, I can tell you what I would like to see. There are like around like 10 people, I would say, who kind of regularly share their catalogs. Anthony Iles was for the longer period, like the beta tester. Dubravka also. She actually introduced me to the.
You mean using Libre to?
Yes. So like a number of people know us, and they usually now they are like really accessing us. For example, Trevor Schultz. So I'm glad that whenever he needs a book, he sends me an email asking for that book. So he can go and download it, but he just found it more convenient if I do that for him. And I'm glad, because I think that he does a great selection. So whenever he does that selection, I just add it to my library. So for some of the books, I cannot say like that I really know what is going on about it, but I can say Trevor knows. So if you will be interested in that book, and that's what I think that librarian should do. So it needs to know like why something is relevant, why something is selected. So only 5 of us can pretend that that's a small like organization. 50 of us, in my opinion, if we just go for 1 day per week, we can appear there and being like almost like a bigger organization. We can go probably up to 10,000 of books. And if we can like do that, then we can also add a few robots which will just like pretend that they are humans. So some of these librarians will be used so that you will have permanent or like almost permanent access. So we can start that game. How many of us are running that infrastructure? That's kind of my goal.
Okay, but who is actually watching us or perceiving us? Are we perceiving this as what you say?
Publishers.
Publishers.
Yeah.
In which way? Technically?
Verso, for example, always like. Did you get from Verso? Did you get a letter from Verso? What was the?
You're talking about Top Verso?
There is a website.
But you know, it's very interesting because I'm about to sign a contract for a book with Verso. I am, and I actually brought up this situation with them, and they seem to have changed their minds. And they said, actually, we've thought about it, and having all our materials out there is not affecting the sales. The books still sell as well as they did with the PDFs out there. And you know, so in a weird way, because I challenged them on this because of where
what you represent in the
what
world.
I represent. I said, hey, come on, you know, I'd like to, you know, this book should get out there in that way too. So you know, he actually was very, very firm about saying that the idea of piracy of these books being out there has not hurt their sales. So. Just not.
Great.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's great. So
But you haven't signed the contract yet, which says that you're allowed to, etc. and so on.
Well, I mean, I actually don't like my idea with my own books is that I like to let the publishers have a go at it for a little while, and then eventually the sales very quickly wind down, and then the book, you know, everybody sort of seems to be happy to let it go. Public after a cycle, which is in academic publishing a year at best, and then let it go into free circulation. Now, I'm not against them having, you know, rights to this thing. They're putting a shitload of money into this, trying to, you know, to publish it, distribute it, market it. That's all right. Take your turn with it, but it won't be yours forever. You know, that's all.
Okay, so I would like to say that I also try to make it a little bit more dangerous because then it's more exciting. But also because I'm not afraid that anything like bad will happen to me or anyone who's doing this. But at the same time, if you read very like in a paranoid way the legal regulation, then you can see 35 years of jail. For example, like Aaron Schwartz. Is there anyone who didn't hear about Aaron Schwartz case? I mean, don't be afraid, it's not like a test in university or something. Okay, Aaron Schwartz downloaded, great, thanks. You probably know, but yeah, there were a couple of people who are just afraid. So Aaron Schwartz downloaded like 4 million of scientific articles from JSTOR, which is a big repository of scientific articles. And there is a huge mess with the scientific publishing where these are the private companies. They were adding some value to the whole process, but with internet, it kind of they are losing that. It could be much cheaper, it can be much more accessible, but they are in control of the scientific publishing in many ways. And public should pay many times. They pay for the, like with public money, the scientific experiments, and then you need to go and buy the scientific journals, which are super expensive. Anyway, Aaron Schwartz was downloading 4 million books. He was caught at the MIT and alleged for a number of like 17 felony. Do you say felony? Like the 17 felony charges. And then they wanted to make him as an example, so no one should ever do that. And they said that he's facing allegedly 35 years in jail. And then he committed suicide. And that was a huge tragedy. He was like a hero of internet in many ways. He was doing these kind of things even before. And in that sense, it's like a super sad story. And it's a huge loss. And I think that it's a good argument to say, they were trying to say, so you can read it in that way, that it's 35 years. But I don't think that he would face 35 years. They were also saying that he would face like 6 months in maximum, but accepting that it was a felony, which would, by US laws, completely outlaw him from being a political subject. So he wouldn't be able to vote, and so they would just like reduce him to like a non-political person, and he was so political that he couldn't really like, probably, and he was so complex that we can't reduce him to any of these, and he committed suicide. It was a huge tragedy. Anyway, so that's one edge of that. But other edge of that is like what you just said, Verso, being like the example of the publisher who goes really like hardly against people, being a leftist, and then almost like, what the fuck, you know, like you want to see the revolution in the world, and then you just go after like few people who are sharing your books and things like that. So it's a huge story. Anyway, on the other edge, I don't think that you will get in jail if you do this. So that's why I wanted to make it a little bit more dangerous. But at the same time, I don't think that that's the case. But what I really care about is that I think that we shouldn't let archives and catalogs to algorithms. I'm in that sense very afraid of all of the repositories becoming run by a Google, Amazon, or any other corporation, or even a huge organization, where there is no anymore librarian as a human being understanding, translating, recommending, selecting. So in that sense, why I'm afraid? It's a long, I think first it's a long story, but just one part of that is that the algorithmic approach is in a very special, like a paradigm of engineering mind. And engineering mind is like getting more and more powerful in this world. And the way how we would then access that knowledge will be very much connected to that engineering mind. And I don't think that, I'm also quite engineering mind first. But I'm scared even by my vision of the future, if it's applied to the world. But I'm much more scared by other engineers' vision of the future, especially like Google, Amazon, and the others. Because the first, that's just the first part of that, and then there are like many other. So I think that we need to get in control of the interpretation. So first we get into catalogs and metadata, and then we get into more like socializing around that. So we kind of deal with that catalog among us. We don't want to just let it run by because then what? Books will be read by algorithms. So then we humans don't even need to read it, because we can wait for the end of time when we'll get 42, which is not a big deal, I would say.
So we run for legal, we exchange books.
Yes.
And
we get more into the research. So I think that the Calibre in that sense is just the first step, like a kind of a political organization in a way. We need more people to do that. And then we can get deeper or like further into the research. Tomorrow we will hear what Dusan is doing, what Simon is doing, what Kenneth is doing. And at the same time, this introduction was the introduction how I approach that problem. And I would like to see more than this. At the moment in Mama, something great happening. At the festival in Ljubljana, we made a digital book scanner, and at the moment there are like 30 or 40 books of Yugoslav socialism, which got forgotten. It's very hard to access that, but that legacy is super important for today, and that's what's happening. And I think that this is the new way of interpreting that. And if it just with your question, if we let that to market and algorithm, we will never see that because there is no demand by market, and also no algorithm at this moment sees the Branko Horvat and Edvard Gardel as the like great contributors to the world. Okay, so yes, before we go further, how many people want to go hands-on? Okay, so Dubravka and I will go and visit you. Can you just keep the hand? Okay, because others, you're all welcome to just observe this without like getting, because we will just check if it works for you. And if we have like less people, it can be quicker. If you have everybody doing that, then it can be quite long.
What are you running? What does that mean, hands-on?
Hands-on, like you install the Calibre, then you import the book, then you download the metadata for that book, and then you run the Let's Share book software, and then you are running the whole thing.
So if it's on the laptop already, all set up?
Yeah, it's all on your lap.
Yeah, I have Calibre, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I'm downloading your book.
Is there? Yeah. Please, who doesn't have Calibre, please go and download it. Okay.
Where can you get it? Calibre-ebook.com. This is the
Yes. Calibre-ebook.com. Okay. How many people needs to install it? You don't have a computer.
You can install it on your.
Yeah,
you
you
can
can-
install it on the
Yeah.
on your pad there.
But it will take, conceptually, you can recreate it, you can interpret all of that, but it will take millions of years. Yeah. Okay, so let's wait for like a few minutes.
Takes a bit of time, doesn't it? 'Cause it's quite a big,
So Ubuntu
big download.
Okay, let's go further. So the ones who are like downloading, put that in queue, observe what I will just show you. So, USB disks, who wants to copy? It also takes some time. Okay. Huh?
It's a selection
Okay,
of
so
Marcell's library.
ask for the USB. This will go like.
What you mean?
Part of my library, part of Tom Medak's library, so there are different libraries of different people.
Please then observe. It's very simple. So anyway, this is like super simple. People, I feel like
We need help here.
okay. It's like a 1999. I remember when I started with workshops in 1999. It was a time when you would just say like, here's the software. This is very simple. It's very useful, and I feel like that. Wires, installation features and packages. Okay, just copy So now we and say and then just paste it here.
Marcel,
This is the line to install something from Linux, and the user has a sheet for
well,
yeah.
download well the application.
Yes,
Maybe you can download the container.
just enter.
I'm not Marcel,
Do you know the password? No, you just type. Whenever you import it, it will move it from one folder to another. That's what it does. So it's not that rename it in place. Are you familiar? Znači on da import samo onda prebaci i to je znači on Okay, how many people? Yes. That's okay, but I recommend something else. Yeah, to install it through the terminals because it can show me how this works. Yeah. Linux, and then do you know how to open terminals? Okay, it's easy. So this line, but you know the password. Okay, and then it will be installed then. Just wait for the downloading. Okay, I hope that we are... Okay, if it's about to install, make a break and please just watch what's going on. It's so simple that you will probably feel like, what the fuck? Why we are doing this workshop? But just the first step. Okay, we need to have a methodology. And that methodology is like when I raise up my voice, you tend to quiet down and pretend that you are listening to me. Because few people will be then convinced that they should do that. Okay, so when you have a PDF on your hard disk, yes, then here you just say add. You just click here, or you can say add books. Yeah, from a single directory. Or just click on this icon. This is how you get the files. So you go for the PDF, EPUB, MOBI, book. This is like importing one book per action. So I will do that from my, I have a huge downloads, PDFs. Okay, neuromancer. I'm sorry. this is the book which I will import. So, Neuromancer is in Calibre, but this is still not catalog because the metadata is still not there. Maybe some of that is already there, but we want to be like a wholesome librarians. Remember, when you're a librarian, you don't want to be messy. So, not Lionel Messi. So, edit metadata individually. You go there, then you go for the title, authors. If you know the ISBN, like here, then you can even get rid of this. I will just show you that. I will just get rid of the title and author. Then these are just for sorting. Sorry. So you know that in English, a lot of books start with A or D, T-H-E. So when you want to do sorting, you don't want to sort by that because you will have too many D and A. So this is just saying how it should be sorted. Usually just that D and A goes to the end. Again, for the authors, it will be sorted by last name, not by the first name. This is what these two fields do. And then there is ISBN here, and I will just do download metadata because I have ISBN. If you don't have ISBN, then go make a title and author. Usually that's enough, especially if it's written on a cover. If you can read it from the cover, then that's the title of the book.
And also there is actually a plugin that you can install for your computer that can extract ISBN.
Wait. Yeah. If you want like a help, then it can extract ISBN if it's inside of the book like easily by plugin. But
And
later.
if I download from your library,
Yes.
do I get your information at the data?
No. So at the moment, this whole system, it's not possible to from like when you're on my library, if you are like just using.
So for instance, I downloaded now the Democracy Project and I already have some metadata.
Yes. Usually, if it's EPUB, then it's already inside. You know that in MP3, MP3 always is inside of the file. In PDF, it's a messy. In EPUB, it can be there. So just please follow this procedure, it will be better. Sometimes you will be lucky to see all of the metadata, but books are not like music, unfortunately. That's why we are in a mess here. So if you are just going on my website, and you can see usually ISBN here, and you download it by clicking on a PDF or whatever. So that's how you download from someone who's sharing the Calibre with you. And then you usually have ISBN, and I recommend if there is an ISBN, go for the ISBN. This is the quickest to fetch metadata. And you can see here, I got 2 candidates for metadata. So one, it says that it's published Ace Books, New York, 1984. It has the middle name for William Gibson, and the other one has William Gibson without a middle name, and it has, which you are looking for, cover and summary. Because when you share your catalog with the others, it's good that you have a summary. It's like nice, then when they browse, they know what it's about and things like that. So again, it depends. If you want to be like a super obsessive, then you want to go and see the PDF, see the edition, see the like a year, and then find that. I'm not that obsessive. I'd rather go for the cover from 2nd edition, even if the book is the 1st edition, because I like covers. Because I'm selling these books in the world of symbolic capital. Okay. So when I picked up the candidate, I just say next, and then it will give me the cover, so I can pick up one of the covers. It's that easy. So you imported the book, you added ISBN, that was just enough, or you can just search by title and author. Sometimes you need to research, to change. I usually get, if the title is super long, I then go for the few words and author. Because sometimes the few words will be actually better search than the longer search. Yeah. These are tips and tricks.
So just a question. I'm not sure if everyone is at the same on the same level right now. So
this is communism. Sorry.
So I just added Michael Hart and Tony Negri's most recent publication to my library.
Yay!
Does anyone want to share? So how do these people get this book now through Kali?
This is the first step. You need like 2 more steps, and then you're like librarian. So it's like this is the first step out of 3 steps, and then you're librarian. At the moment, you're not librarian. No. You're just almost. You want to be librarian.
You're becoming a librarian. Now we choose the...
Yes, the cover. Yeah.
It's better to be a wannabe librarian.
Yeah. I agree.
So you meaning before I share with you, what's the next step then?
You edit methodology individually. So now you have authors. Yeah, you need to like do authors. In the authors, then you need to like this is a book declaration. This is a book. Yeah. It has a okay. And here you need to say in between columns. And then you can do something to become so it just got like whatever okay. So and then you download metadata. Okay, this is quite simple. Is there any question about the technical? You can also carry some knowledge through time. So you know that you know, and then if it didn't finish, still you can focus on next step. Okay, so this is what I did. I added Neuromancer to my library. I can add tags. Actually, for non-fiction books, I'm super bad. I have literature, that's my tag. I'm embarrassed, but you know, I don't have any genres, anything. I have very few non-fiction books, and I call it literature. If you're into something else, just go with your tags, but maybe not now.
Hey Marcell?
Yes?
In my library, I've got tons of stray articles, PDFs, you know, stuff from academic sites that have no ISBN.
Yes, okay.
What do I do about that?
I'll address that in a second. Okay.
Super non-commercial things?
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
This is, so when we have books, I encourage people to start with books because you'll be motivated after you have like hundreds of items, nicely with covers, everything else, then you feel good and you want to add some other things. Then you will get to that problem of something which has no ISBN, which is not a book, which is like super rare. Then you're becoming the true librarian because you need to find a way, a convention which you will use. And then in the future, you will try to convince the world to use your convention so that you don't need to change it in the future.
And will Amazon then take my conventions and upload those to their site?
No, they will never get any
Okay,
metadata
from
from you. They
No.
just give you their interpretation of your data.
That's where they're stupid.
Yes, exactly.
They could be getting all, I mean, we're taking it from them. They could,
No. But this is a long discussion. Amazon is not stupid. but in that particular part it is, yeah. Okay, so please, now we are covering so this book was a model for many books. You can go with a million of books, it will be the same. So now we go for something which is not books. I already have that. I have 64 essays. And I will just show you like here. I use tag essay. So for me, essay is a paper, is a dissertation, thesis, anything which is not book. But you can go with your own. I would be honored if you use essay, but I don't think it is the best. But anyway. So then what I tend to do is to find if there is a scientific citation, I try to do that here in comments. And if there is a DOI, which is identifier or ISSN, which is another identifier for scientific journals, I add it there. And I will just show you, you have identifiers in Calibre. You can see it here. And you can now see that I have, see, 14 DOIs. So if you have DOI, then you just do DOI, colons, and then DOI. This is the identifier for scientific journals. And then if you do the name of the identifier, colons, and then the value, it will be listed in all identifiers. So then you can go and see how many DOI articles you have, how many ISSN articles, or you can also introduce your own, which sometimes is helpful if you want to do some advanced things with that. But that's like a database kind of. So if you have identifier which is already established in the world of all identifiers, then you can use it like this. How you can find it? Usually you download that from JSTOR if you have access or something like that. And now, another thing why Library Genesis is fucking great, and that's because they have scientific articles, the same approach. So they have illegal access to a lot of like scientific journals, and then you can download it from here, and then you get like usually you have the identifier. So that's how I deal with that.
But also you can find, if you know the name of the paper, then you can find it. You can find the identifier when they ask you to put in an access code or pay. The DOI is usually listed there, so you can copy it from there. And then for that you can use any like Taylor and Francis or Elsevier or any of their.
Yeah, and this is why. So at the moment, this resource is like not available. This is why we need more people. So when you get temporary public URL from in this project, it is temporary because you can decide for how long you will share your books. When you say stop in Calibre, or if you just like close Let's Share Books program, you are not sharing anymore. This is the choice. But also symbolically, in this world, all of these resources are temporary. If you find something which is good, save it and put it into the catalog. This is the only, it's not even guaranteed that it will stay. But if enough of people do that, then we have more control of that. So this service temporary unavailable. Read it as now it's available. But I just needed to convince you how important it is to do what we are just doing. This was a joke, but also serious joke. Okay, so here you can see the tragedy of commons and the comedy of community. You know tragedy of commons? You probably heard of that influential article. So you can find now on this C Hub and you can recognize that this is VOI. That's where you go for the scientific articles. Anyway, Calibre is not the best tool for making a catalog of scientific articles. It's more like, really think of it as a bookshelf, as a living room bookshelf. So very few people have printed scientific articles in a living room bookshelf, but some articles are really good and you want to have them there. So if you want to go for many articles, there is a tool called Zotero, and I highly recommend that, but this is not the workshop for Zotero. We can organize that, but not today.
But I think, but what is also, is this doesn't mean that you should not put your scientific articles in Calibre. It's what I do is that I have all my scientific PDFs in Calibre, but I use Zotero, which is now also a standalone application, but before it was plugin for Firefox. I get all the necessary metadata I need in Zotero, and then I make a link from Zotero to say this file, this metadata is related to this file which is in Calibre library. And then when I need to quote from this, use this to quote this paper, then I actually just go to Zotero and copy the bibliography and so I still use Calibre as the only place on my computer in which I store PDFs or any type of ebooks. And through that, I'm opening them. I'm through that putting books on my Kindle or my tablet, and through that I'm doing all the management there. So it's my bookshelf. And the best thing is that if I want to get inspired, I just scroll. It's like standing in front of the bookshelf and looking at books.
So when you grow up, which can be in a few days, you'll be this advanced librarian. That's your goal. I do the same, just not to repeat this. Okay. So what we know now is how to download the book, how to import the book into the Calibre, and how to add the metadata. You can do all of that metadata manually, but it's kind of nice and convenient if you just click once and get all of that automatically. Okay, so this is what you usually do. But many times you will start with the whole new library from someone else, and also you probably will share it with someone else. So if you download it from that USB disk, you have Marcell Mars books, Tommy Medard books, New Left Review, and few other folders. So if you wanna just make a new library, which is separated from the one which you're doing, you can do that like this. You go here to create, switch create library. It's this like a famous icon, very ugly but fucking great.
Can they do something about the ugly interface here?
Don't complain.
Really? This has got to be the ugliest interface ever
This is
made.
one of the uglier, yes, I agree.
Someone should write a paper, the ugly interfaces of free software.
I can barely use this interface.
But it keeps on being,
Because it's so ugly.
You know it's a free software then. Interface
Yes,
is ugly.
it's easy to make free software, minimal and beautiful.
Just one comment. A revolution is not a designed tea party.
It's not, it doesn't, good design is to take away from anything. It makes the revolution nicer.
I agree. So if there are designers here, I can really introduce you how to make this beautiful. But I'd rather go into something else. So here, switch and create library. If you click here, then you can click on this icon and find the find the folder which is already set up a library, and then it will just appear in front of you like this. So here I have Tommy Medard's library, which is 173 books. And also what you would like to do is that whenever you have something on A, that book should be like nicely done. So Tommy is not a good librarian. You can see abstract sex in my library. It's the great book. It's called Abstract Sex. You can see. It has all of the metadata. So that's one great librarian. And then when you go for Tommy Meder books, his book on top is like what?
Wait, are you
Aesthetics of Resistance.
Marcell, are you finding network libraries in the room right now? I'm not sure. Where are you?
Okay.
Or you're just finding your own?
So okay, I'm going back. So sometimes you get a folder from someone, which is the whole Calibre library from someone.
Right, here.
So you have a folder.
And you add it to it.
Yes. So now there are a couple of USB disks here, which people can download. So they can open Marcell Mars books, Dubravka, Tommy Medak.
But we have to do it on USB disk. There's no way right now for me to get on in the
Yeah. Patient. You will get it. Yeah. This is just a snippet of knowledge which you carry for the moment when you are able to do that. Okay. So yeah, this is Tommy's. And then when you are looking into someone else's library, you can just copy some of the books into your library. These are the things which you can do with Calibre. So here.
So yes, looking into someone else's library is not downloading someone else's library, is accessing, but how does it
No, you can. Okay, I will do that again, just to also to.
So Marcell has now on his computer a folder which is called Tommy Medak.
Right.
Which is a copy.
And this is what the 150 books that Tom has.
173.
Yeah. Okay.
The full size of it, yeah?
Yeah, it's the full size of it, and it's on one of these USB sticks. It's like as if you took one of these USB sticks and copied on a random temporary folder.
Okay.
And then through this, you can actually kind of see them in this Calibre. But this is not something. This library is not online. This is something that Marcell has on his computer.
Okay, so it traveled to my computer on an USB stick.
Yes. So when you have you have that USB disk computer, you say switch create libraries, then you use the previously existing library at the new location, you found it on USB disk or you already copied that, and when you open it up, then it will just look like this.
Is there a way to kind of like look into someone else's library without
Yes, but
this
that's
kind
the
of
next
physical?
step. Yeah. So that's the next step. So what now? This use case scenario is like we met and we are drinking coffee, and you kind of copied the file for me. In the next step, this will be how we share online.
Okay. So when we are in the physical space, like we are now, then this is the great moment when we can exchange a huge amount of data.
Plug into each other.
Yes, exactly. But then in the future, we can share like this. So then people can go and browse our bookshelf, our library. And this is what we will get. We need like one more step to get there. Now we are covering the use case when we have others people's library. In this case, Tommy's Medak's library, which I just have on my disk, or you have it on USB disk, or you just copy it on your disk and then you find it when you go quick and switch library. And then you can just say Americana, okay, at least it sounds like something which I would like to have. Because I have no time to like really check if I want it. So I just do copy to library, and then I can choose to which library, because I have few libraries on my computer. I just choose to which I will copy. So I will copy Americana to my what I consider as my base library. This is called Marcell Mars books. I also call it Marcell Mars book because of workshops. At the beginning, I called it my library, and then I just like realized that on the workshop it's much better if I call it Marcell Mars books. You know that kind of context switch. Okay, so now it's copied. Now this a book, Americana, is in Marcell Mars books. So I'm switching to Marcell Mars books now. It takes some time. And Americana should be here. Where is Americana?
Tom is a bad librarian. Wrong metadata.
Yeah, no.
Ah, is it here?
You're all in Amazon now. The last.
Here,
Yeah.
ispod
Yeah,
lokomotiva.
three.
Ispod lokomotiva.
Here it is. Sorry, I got confused with the sorting and like titles. Okay, so here it is. This is what I copied from Tommy's. Okay? This is easy. So this is also, if you have like a super secret pornography library, maybe you will just use it as a separate library and not share it with the world. Or that will be the only library which you share with the world. It just is your choice. Okay.
Also,
So
what I find convenient is because I have that New Life Review whole archive, which is 50 years of PDFs, that I find it convenient to have this as a kind of library to which I think. So forever, I have the Poezije, which is an architectural magazine for Netherlands, also kind of multiple years and stuff. So I find these things kind of convenient to keep separate libraries. It's like having like one bookshelf for this and not mixing them together.
for example, I have like a Wallerstein 300 like items or something. And I just didn't want to have, I really love Wallerstein, but I didn't want to have like every second book in my library Wallerstein. It's kind of like a tricky one. So I keep it like separated. But you can easily just like select all and copy it to any library. So you can merge it super easily. Okay. Is there any question about this? I think this is basic like computer stuff. So, okay. So now we are moving. So at the moment, you know how to import the books, how to download the books. Go to Arcor, go to Library Genesis, go on internet, go to Monoscope, download the books. Ask for the USB disk. You can have like thousands of books at the moment. We have here also David Graeber's. He's a very good anarchist anthropologist. We have 15,000 books selected by David Graeber.
But they're not indexed.
But they're not in Calibre. If anyone wants to do that, fuck yeah. We will have it. Anyway, what we have now, you are now running the catalog, like getting metadata from internet. It's easy and convenient. If it doesn't download, you can do that manually. So you are a librarian only for yourself. You are not sharing that with the world. So next step is how we share what we have with the world. Okay, so the first step is always that we want to start content server. Okay? There is a super ugly icon with the whole story about the ugly interface, and then it looks like I don't know what, 3 planets, very small planets, smaller than the hard disk, which are just like on top of the hard disk. And when you do that, it says start content server. Okay? So when you do this, you are sharing your library with everyone, usually in the room, or everyone who's connected to the same router. Now, just prepare, you don't need to remember it, maybe you don't understand it. You are in the same address space, IP address space, under the, yeah, whatever. So, so this is what you do when you do start content server. That's very convenient when you have like a Kindle or something. If you install like an application called Calibre Companion, then it will automatically find it if you are in the same network. If it says that you are connected here, it's like what's the name of the network?
CK13.
Yeah, CK13, whatever. So this is what you do. But in order to get your library accessible from the internet, you need to get the public URL. So you need to push your library through my server, which name is Memory of the World, and that server will give you that public URL. So whoever then access your laptop. It accesses it through that server, and that server is like smart enough to know how to connect that person from internet directly to your laptop. That means that if you just like destroy your laptop, they cannot download it because there is no more access to the books. Do you understand that? When you share your catalog, you share it directly from your laptop.
And the people have access only to the library?
Yes, so they don't have access to other stuff on your laptop through the software which I wrote.
And how do I designate which library I would like to make accessible? As we just said, the secret pornography library is perhaps not the one I want to show.
The one which you are sharing is the one which you see. It's what you see is what you get. At the moment, you will get abstract sex, but not the secret one.
Because when you switch from library to library, the only one library is displayed at a time. Okay. So when you do
the sharing can only take place when I'm myself also in the library.
Yes.
So you have to have your Calibra switched on, and to be in the library that you want to share with.
So
you can only share one library.
Yes, you are sharing one library.
And I think that actually what is that usually you have only one library, and then what you want to differentiate, because you can add as many tags as you can. You'll kind of identify you're not gonna start making like a library per author, but it's easy to list them because it's actually a really good sorting tool. So majority of your library will be in one library. What I think is maybe more convenient to make is that if you have like now numerous years of a specific magazine that has a lot of articles, that then you just want to take this out and to make it separate.
But this is what you have at the moment. You can share only one library at the moment.
It's open at the moment. Yes.
Yes, that is open at the moment.
So you basically need to make appointments with people.
Yes, just like library, working hours.
So what I do is like I tell to friends, I finally figured out how to do this Marcell program this, and I tell them email me when you need something, and I can start my content server, and then I put this online and I send them the link.
So I will show you what I also prepared in a sense. There is like a secure chat conference where you can invite people and then hang out with them, where it's like a nice secure zone where they cannot know if you are who you are and things like that. But if you have like your own books here saying your name, then they will find it. Also, what I recommend, you need to know this. I don't think that you should I'm sorry? I don't think that you should hide. I don't think that there is a huge punishment which will happen. But when you share your books, at the bottom of the page, it will show the folder from where it is served. You see this? Yeah. So if you want to be hidden, then make the folder for your Calibra library something very generic. Make it like / and call it my library. Then it won't be exposed. But if you have it in your name, here is like Marcell Mars, it's like quite obvious. There are like not that many Marcell Mars.
I will call my library also Marcell Mars.
Which is great because exactly how you can like protect yourself. You could say anyone can do that, but yeah. I don't think that you need to hide, but if you want, I'll tell you how to do that. And also kind of a prediction, how many millions of dollars someone needs to invest in order to catch it. Okay. So, what Dubravka was showing, if people go to tags on home, you can see here, this is my library, tags. And then you can see tags. This is how you can separate these. And for example, art. You can share this whole URL. Can you see this URL? You can share this URL in chat and send it to people and say, here you have a list of all of the books which are tagged art in my library, because they are maybe interested in that tag. This is how you communicate with your users. You are a librarian, and then you say, if you're interested in art, here are like 24 books. If you are interested in something, yeah? Okay. So now we are moving to how to share. Okay? Can you see the URL? Is it too small? I can make it bigger. Okay, so the URL for that small software which will allow you to share your Calibre library with the world, it's called Let's Share Books, and you can download it from GitHub. This is my account, where most of the people keep their software today. So it's github.com/Marcell Mars/Let's Share Books. Okay. This is the page which you should see. Okay, if you're on the page, don't start to download anything before I show you, please. So, for people with OS X, with Mac, there is here is an explanation. You can see let's share books.comment. A native speaker can just pronounce it. Then you do save link as, and just download it to the folder from where you wanna run it later on. But there is one more step which you need to do before it's ready for double click. I'm sorry, I didn't make it 100% user friendly, but it's very easy to do that. So this is for OS X. Is there anyone with OS a Mac which didn't download this, which has problems?
So you just save it as
link
as a text file.
Yes, it's a script.
And then open up the terminal and run it.
You just need to add a permission to be executable, so then you can just double click on that. That will be the case. I'll show you how to add the permission. Okay, so now Windows people. I think that there are only few people with Linux.
Linux, yeah.
Okay, I'll show you that. So, Windows people, there is a zip file. After this project, even it's so small, I can tell you, I hate Windows. Yes. I hate Windows, I hate Mac, but I hate much more. So, download this zip and then just unzip it. Just click on zip and it will just download it and then uncompress it. Is there anyone with Windows who needs help?
How do I get the change on this?
You need to go into terminal.
I'll just see the end of the start all over.
Yes. So yeah, you can also yeah, but we need them to get because it's not folder, so just need them to get now yes.
Now you have
Class X is the same execution. You have to go here, if you have some style yes, then you can just go.
You have to check.
Yes,
And then like for you, it's actually going to this folder. So you have, if you want important in your library, and you can make like your own. You can make your own. You can spend the open it and
I'm pretty good at this.
No, I understand. So when I have like 10 people who are interested in doing that, then I add more effort to make it more user-friendly. That's not true. It's just that you are in different field. Yeah, I understand. You just, yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But all the time, yeah.
What you can do now is
No, yeah. The problem is that this is super easy to make. Not like completely easy, but it's like super simple. But in order to get it, the whole installation and everything, I need to have the Mac. You know, it's like now there is a. Yes, exactly. But I'm not like a OS 10 developer, so in order to get like small script. I need to get into the, like a world of Androids and developers. Yeah, I heard about it and I'm just like happy with that. But there is like a certain exciting moment to get that to run and you just feel like So people with Linux, hands. Okay. So you just do here, same link as, download it to any folder. Do you need help with terminal in Linux? Calibrate. Okay. Okay. Is there any successful story of running lecture books except Kenneth and me at the moment? Okay. Just go to Pirate Pad, LSB, and add your URL. Yeah. If you go to piratepad.net/LSB and just add your URL. Can you do that? Piratepad.net/LSB. Yeah, piratepad.net/LSB. And then just add your URL. Yeah. And then just running desktop.
Marcell, one more help over here.
Yeah. So if you go to piratepad.net/LSB, these are the links which you can just use. These are the libraries which are now in chat. Yeah.
Marcell, ne, ovi koji šeraju, ovi koji šeraju, radne biblioteke, ovi koji šeraju, da. Marcell?
But on Linux there is no like super easy way to install it in that way.
And this URL changes every time it is activated.
Now I will explain that. Yeah.
Aha, ali moraš to reći yes. Sorry, aha, ajde ti samo sam test.
Ne, nije to taj. Ovo je lecture books. Evo ga. 12.4. Samo da pričiš sad. Može
Okay.
go back. So, for many of you, please attention. There is one thing which I learned here, and that's that I should improve this software so that you can like really kind of double click every step. That's the first thing. How many people would, it's not like a promise, so just tell me, are you interested in using this in this state? Is this at the moment useful for you, and would you like to use it? Okay. How many of you would use it if it is easier than it is now? Okay. No. The people who wouldn't use it at this stage, but would use it if it's just like without that terminal stuff and things like that. Okay. Is there anyone? Okay. Good. Because this workshop here, so I must tell you how I see this. There is a substantial effort which I need to do in order to get it more user-friendly. And I will do that. But I'm not sure on which I should focus. And now if I have you people here, and if you can like meet from time to time, if I can see that you are interested, then I can also like start to improve it also with your feedback. That's the idea. Okay. So we need more librarians. And now you have it installed, you can use it. But I understand that it will be hard for you to make someone using it without the help. So I will do my best to get it like more user-friendly soon. Soonish, let's say September, because it's summer and we are lazy. I'm lazy at least. Okay. So you can expect that, I hope that you will get back with the feedback. What I propose is that we meet on Thursdays in crypto. I'll show you that. It's, if you go to crypto, this is the address. This one is like super user friendly. This is done by a Lebanese hacker who's like great. I'm not like a great hacker, as you can see. It works, but it doesn't really like fulfill all of the expectations. I hope that when I grow up, I will do something like this. Okay, so CryptoCat is the browser plugin which allows you to get into the chat conference. Chat conference is the room where you hang out with many people. It's quite secure. If you are a member of Al-Qaeda, don't use it. If you are not, use it and be quite sure that very, very few people will get you because of this technology. I'm pretty sure that they will get you because of other things, not because of this technology, if they go against. Okay. So, when you have it installed in Chrome, you don't need to restart it. Then you will have it in applications. You just click on CryptoCat, and this is what you will get. Conversation name. This conversation is Let's Share Books. LETCSHA, like just, there are two S. Okay. So join it. Get there when you install it. Yeah. There is, Revolution has a lot of components. Yes. Yeah, it kind of doesn't work with like one package.
What's the conversation name?
Let's Share Books. Yes. As we know, Revolution was always the best example of the Apple user interface.
Let's share.
So I'll tell you one story before this. I started program in 2004, which was called Skill Sharing in Zagreb. And it was only announcement. So I said, let's meet on Saturday and let's share skills. And I would just announce like things like how to install Linux at that time, how to use Firefox, how to install CryptoCat of 2004 and things like that. And for a year and a half, it was like a freak show. Only like a kind of non-established members of society were getting together with me on these Saturdays. And people were making fun of that, especially in Mama, where so they would say, oh, Marcell is magnet for like crazy people, that's what he does, and blah, blah, blah. But then in like 2005, a couple of real hackers got there. And at the moment, it's a great story. It's a success story. More than like 100 or something people during the time. A lot of people, we are best friends, like at least like 30 people. Skill sharing started in Belgrade, in 4 cities of Croatia, in Skopje. We have events for last 6 years called Nothing Will Happen, four times per year. And again, no expectations, just announcements. We meet and it's great. We love each other. There are like few problems, like very few women and things like that, but okay, nothing is really perfect. Yeah, so it's geeks really, but it's a success story. And I think that the only reason why it was successful was that it was happening every fucking Saturday, and even they were making literally. It sounds like that fucking stupid wisdom. First day something, then they laugh at you, then whatever, and then like, oh my God, help me. I mean, this just like happened like that. So it worked because I was doing that every Saturday, and we are proud that from 2004, non-single Saturday in Mama in Zagreb was without skill sharers. I was not there for years. I'm not in Zagreb, and it works. So what I propose here is like Thursday. Is it okay with you? I will be there. That's for sure. What do you think about Thursday?
But when?
Yeah, okay. Just Thursday first. I won't be like the whole fucking Thursday. Let's say like 8 o'clock GMT. No, like 10. Like sometimes in the evening. Is that? What do you think about it? I will be there. Okay.
Better later than.
Yes. Maybe we can say midnight Eastern European time. Is that okay? Okay, so I will be from now on Thursday, midnight, this time zone, I'll be there. So you can just get there from now on, every Thursday, midnight, this time zone. I'll be there. If I won't be there, then I will pay someone to be there.
I'll be there. Yeah.
And I'm very cheap, so you can be quite sure that I'll be there. Okay, so this is the idea. So a couple of us can meet every Thursday and share the experiences. You have demands. I have a number of hackers. We had a first meeting was in Ljubljana, and we had like 7 great hackers. And if they will see there is demand, I will get help from these guys. They are great. But if there is no demand, then they have other priorities. So if you join me, then we will probably do something. And yeah, then we just start to share all these books. Yes, yeah.
And better design.
Yeah, this is, let's try to summarize what we did here. Technically, it's quite simple, but there are few steps which are hard, and I hope that we will improve them. So we have Calibre. You have installed Calibre. This is already useful for like individuals. So you will have a catalog which you can access. You can search in your Calibre. You can get all of these books already cataloged. So it's a good start even if you will not ever share with anyone else. That's the first thing. Then what you have is that you have installed that part which allows you to share your catalog with the others. If you don't have it, you know that on Thursdays on midnight, you can get the books which you did if you didn't like copy it here. I'll be there. I will have like 1,000 of books. You have it, you can share it. So let's meet there, and then there are like few things which I think that we are just like fed up. I don't want to like get more into technical details. But on Thursdays, what you can get is also soon. I'm running, I'll show you this. I'm running on Memory of the World / Marcell. This is a blog like Monoscope, but it is not maintained. I made the infrastructure. This is just text. So I got like a couple of these books from my Calibre library by doing this. So in Calibre, I picked up, so here is the book. I picked it up. I do create, modify, post. Before that, I just did like a memory of the, yeah. Here it is. So if I say publish, this is how I publish from Calibre. It's one click. In settings, you say memory of the world, your username and password, and then from Calibre, you just select the book, say create or modify post, and you will get that post on the WordPress. I don't want to get here because I think that we did too much. But on Thursdays, if you want to run a blog, which will be as great as Monoscope or even better, you will actually have like a very easy thing. This is like super easy. Username, password, one click, and it's on WordPress. I hope that if you are interested, that you will do more than just like sending books from Calibre. You can run your blog. We can kind of make this place something where the amateur librarians meet. And that's how we can do that, like whatever, the guerrilla, 50 people pretending 500 people, and then like maybe running some robots so that you can say to your friends that these 15,000 books or 30,000 books are almost always online and things like that. But this is the game. That's where I invite you. So it is a game on this, in a way, on this memory of the world domain. You can get a WordPress blog. You can easily maintain it. You have the Calibre. You can start with libraries, which are a couple of hundred books, which is already fine. And if we just like do that together, I think that we can do something out of it. That's where I invite you. And as I told you at the beginning, this is how I try to fight for the public library. You can follow me on that. I also would like to go further for communism, but I kind of.
What's the better?
Yeah, exactly. I don't expect anyone to like. But just to be clear, I'm not like only for the public library. I would like to see the world where the information just goes freely and where everybody, there is a universal access to knowledge for every members of society. But I think that this story is focused on books because books as a signifier has very specific meanings in the society. When you read books, even if it's like the worst book, no one would complain that you're wasting your time. If you are watching the best movie, many people would say that it's entertainment. And so in that sense, I think that it's good to start this whole story with the library and with the books. But I hope that it will go like further. And yeah, that's the, you can join, we need like a lot of librarians for many things. Dubravka can teach you how to fix the books which are scanned. There is now like a big effort in Mana in Zagreb, scanning the books. That will probably happen more. It already happened in Belgrade with the same goal.
If you have, so what basically, if you have a really bad scan on a book you want, there are software where it can be kind of a decent scan.
Yes.
And even decent enough to be converted into EPUB and then uploaded to your ebook reader.
So we need people. We need people to get in control over that metadata, over the catalogs. We also need people and labor in order to digitize books which are relevant, but which are not already on internet, because most of the books which we can see here are there mostly because of market logic. And I think that there is a, in my opinion, a strong need to get there where there is no market logic. And this can be done by digital book scanners and things like that. So if you have any like organization, whatever, if you don't have a scanner, things like that, please contact me. I can try to like inform you, at least like I'm getting now in whatever, in the position where maybe I will be able to provide support for book scanners and things like that. So yeah, but I need support in that sense. Yeah.
Is there
Can we just like for 5 or 10 minutes be like focused on this, and then we have yeah.
I just want to ask, maybe I missed it, but is there somewhere where there's existing how-to of this, or is there somewhere that you would like a how-to to be written? Yes. Because to be able to repeat this, you know, it will come with that bucket.
Yeah. So remember this domain. I got like a good feedback. I will just do the public library people blog, probably like tonight. I'll just do another page which will say tools, and then I will just repeat what what we did here. So go to www.memoryoftheworld.org, and then yeah, I will just like make that document.
But also it says people helping.
Yep.
Maybe at some time we can move on to doing something that people can
Contribute.
Contribute, because obviously, you know, there's lots of detail.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if there is any need, we can go with the wiki, we can go any of these tools. But let's just test it on Thursdays. That's how I feel about it. Let's meet. This is the like a chat, and let's see like if there is enough of. Because I really tried my best to entertain you and to encourage you to do this. And from now on, I'll do my best to support you with my technical knowledge. But yeah, maybe nothing will happen. I kind of got used to do things which are not more successful and popular things. But this is the first time where I feel that that it can work, that it can become a big, because I got recognized. There are a couple of things. It was a Transmediale in Vienna, the digital shared features. There is a lot of recognition. It will be probably next year at Reina Sofia, because Bernabé will like make it quite like big. So I think that if there will be people, we will get enough of stage to promote the idea. And I hope that through time that you will get more knowledgeable how to run these like strange geek tools, and that I'll get more close to you or to your friends to use this in an easier way. Yeah. Maybe we can just like if there are questions, and then like just go for the votes.
I love this idea. I don't love the platform. I don't love Caliber. There's got to be something simpler. I also don't like investing in all my energy into something that, I don't know what Caliber is. It's not an open protocol. Maybe it's free, but who knows? Isn't there some other way to do this, an FTP or some other way of sharing ebooks that's more efficient than this?
Why? So I can tell you that there is no like equivalent or like competitor to Calibre. It is used by more than 10 million users actively in last couple of months, like 4 million people. It is used by most of the people which runs their e-readers. So that's why I picked it up.
Right.
So there is no like
it was that popular.
it is
use it
super
too.
popular.
I use it too and find it weird and clumsy, overdetermined, complicated, and wrong on so many levels. But of course, it's sitting on my computer. I use it mostly as a way to go from an EPUB to a Mobi,
Yes.
not as a way to manage my library. I'm very suspect of having to put all that work into metadata on a very specific platform that probably 5 years from now won't exist.
Okay.
You know, it's like building empire on Hotline. I'm sorry, on Hotwire.
I can tell you about the open standards, which so there is an OPF file, which is a standard, and also there are like number of technical terms here, but I'm not trying to like obfuscate that. OPDS is the open standard for sharing the catalogs, and Calibre supports that. If you just go here, I can show you. If you only do this and then OPDS, it's already there. So you can see that it gets like some structured, this is like RSS feed or something like that. So at the moment when you put it there, it is very well supported by the open standards which are here. The problem is that that in the world of books, Amazon, Google, there is another project which is called Open Library, and there are like few hackers which kind of together with me are trying to like support all of that. So Calibre is just one small part of trying to get there, but we don't have a beta client at the moment. But what I'm pretty sure is that if we can get 50 people with like 10,000 or 15,000 books which are well selected, as we have it from ARC and Monoscope and things like that, I think that we can share it and we can start to build on top of that, because that usually gets momentum after it's desirable. The problem at the moment is that you cannot start with like a big library, but there is no other one which you can start with. There is no like a Apple iBook where you can start with 10,000 best sellers ever, and they will never provide that. So what I hope for is that 50 dedicated people can make it a resource which is desirable, and then maybe we will move.
I get it, but I've been here so many times over the last 20 years, and I've seen what happens to, say, KDX clients. You know, how inoperable and you know, things just, these kind of things just end up dying. I love this idea. I'm with you 100%. I just think the client, and this is not your fault, it's the only one we have, is not something to invest.
I must tell you, I know a lot of technical details about it. I think that it has an ugly skin, but like a deeper. I think that it's well done.
It needs to be thrown into open source and let people work on it.
It is open source.
Yeah.
It is one of the most successful open source projects ever, because of the millions of users, no competitor in such an important field, because it competes with Amazon, Apple, Google, like the biggest guys, and it's still here. And and also Kovid Goyal, who's the author, he's an Indian programmer, he used to be in US. He works on this software exclusively, 100% of his time, only through donations. He broke many rules, which are unwritten rules, especially for the Linux world, and he goes against these rules. So there are a lot of resistance, but I think that he proved by millions of users that it works, but still, it's like from 3 millions to 30 millions, it needs better icons, which is unfortunate.
No, I'm not just talking about the ugly interface. Anyway,
yeah,
we can go on, but I think it's a good bridge. But I think what it's pointing toward is actually much more exciting than where we're at right now. And I look forward to that.
Yeah. Thank for the.
That's great.
I'm skeptical because of my experiences. I never got into anything popular. That's the first thing. But then I think that now this is already here, and it has like a momentum. So I hope that with a little bit of push, we can just like cultivate that into something better. But we will see. Yeah, that's it. We have a panel like Sorry, I thought that you are just inviting me to see something. Ako ti se čini da ne možeš, onda bolje da ne kreneš. Osim ako ne misliš uložiti neki substantial. Znaš, to mislim da nekako, odeš, ideš, par klikova. Znaš, to je nekako, ima neki nivo, ali nije super velik. Ono mislim da ono se ne treba, kako instalirati ovo moje, to nije.